Goldie,
Hey,
what's up?
how are you?
Hair transformation. We're mid transformation, so we're gonna have to go back in time. But we're gonna be doing a red today, and I'll pop this up into the screen. But you want more of like a red violet, right? Like we don't want to go into the coppers. You
No.
don't want to go into the K's or the
Yeah.
the C's, the G's, like anything that's too orangey.
Yeah.
You want more of like a muted chestnut.
Yes.
Um, If you see here, I'm really liking this violet moment or
Yeah.
the red violet moment, but we'll put a little bit of neutral in there.
I'm good with honestly all of these. I love the plum. I love the mahogany. I love the maroon. I'm all about that.
All right, I love mahogany. I love plum.
Yes.
Right now, we just did some free paint open air balayage on Goldie just to kind of, I want her to have some dimension. She wants to have a darker base, so she wants it to have almost like a color melt look, right?
Yes.
So this is just going to kind of break up some of that solidness of the color and make it look really more natural, like she was born with it, you know? But we obviously wanted to have like a little bit of like oomph. Je ne sais quoi. French people, if you're watching, don't judge me.
Some of the color has begun, but let's talk about the cut a little bit. So tell me about that. What are you feeling?
So I haven't cut it in so long, so I just want my ends to be super healthy, and I want to focus on layers a lot and bangs.
Okay, bangs and layers, I'm into it. So
Yeah.
definitely want to keep most of the length, but maybe get rid of just sort of the scragglies, right?
Yeah,
Because
yes.
that has been some time
Much
since you've
needed.
had someone else cut it,
Yes.
from what I gather. And but yes, more layers, definitely. Get rid of some of that weight. But you do like to wear both curly and straight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make sure that the layers in the front, even with the bangs, is going to work great with both, I think. Maybe around cheekbone starting there. How's that
Yeah,
sound?
I like that.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, with the new color and the new cut, here we go.
So this was a shot I took of Goldie's before. That's my dog that you can see a little bit on her lap, my Frenchie. I start everything out with the Chelator by K18. That's like a magnet. It's going to remove all the most common minerals and elements from the hair. After that, I'll come in with their molecular repair hair mist. Leave it on for 4 minutes with no rinse. That's my Tangle Teaser. That is the best to stop damage. That's Philip there with their mist. Like I said, we usually spray that 10 sprays per quadrant. Let it sit for 4 minutes. I wanted to have a little bit of dimension in Goldie's hair. She had virgin hair, which is like a needle in a haystack. I used Oligo Blacklight Clay Lightener with 20 volume. I didn't want to go too brassy on her by using a 30 or 40 volume. I rarely do that. I used 20. I wanted a sun-kissed glow on her. And if you see, I did 2-point zigzag balayage, but I did a very modest rectangular section on the top, leaving all the interior with that darker shade because of her hair is being virgin. And we're going to go into that beautiful red, that cherry cola plum, if you will. I just wanted the top layers to almost look like she's been in the sun. So if you see, I have a wide V there and I make sure that I saturate on point. Let me give you a little 360 here of what I did. Just to have some dimension and some sun-kissed pieces on there is going to make a huge difference. Now let's get a little bit closer here. If you notice, as I move up, I have my V's even wider. I usually like my consistency like Cool Whip. If you don't live in the US, Cool Whip is like something that we put on our pumpkin pie or apple pie. It's just like a nice creamy whipped consistency. And I make sure that my saturation is on point. Sometimes I'll use a paddle, but today I just used my glove and laid it flat and painted my lightener down Goldie's hair. I love my Framar Power Painter. That's probably my favorite brush to use for techniques like this. Balayage isn't for everybody. It makes some people a little bit nervous, but if your saturation is on point and you have clean sections, if you notice the tip of my brush is always clean. There's no lightener on the handle of my brush. I'm constantly cleaning it and wiping it to avoid transfer. I look at the tip of my brush kind of like a pen, just painting on my canvas exactly where I want to see my lighter pieces. Because I'm only lightening, the outer layer of the hair, it's not going to look stripy like you see here. It's going to actually have a really natural sun-kissed outer layer glow because we're not insulating. Sometimes I will put plastic over the top of my client's hair, but this was a complete traditional open air balayage free paint session on Goldie. Once I got to my face frame, if you notice, I took smaller sections and I did more of what I call a French balayage, which is a single balayage, much narrower that you see there, still making sure to have it very evenly saturated from base to ends, and just kind of going around Goldie's hairline and face with those smaller pieces. If you notice, I did 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. A lot of times I'll do something that I call a lioness, which is when I do around the entire face frame, but I really wanted this to be soft and natural on Goldie. So it really wasn't my objective to do that. I wanted this to have that really sun-kissed glow, really kind of like she went to Hawaii for the weekend, and I just wanted her red to have different highs and lows. I let this process open air for 30 minutes only. If I wanted it to go a little lighter and brighter, I could have done 45 minutes, but you can see my placement here on Goldie. And she does this in the salon on her clients, but had never had it to herself. This is what it looked like wet. Honestly, I love the color. I almost wanted to keep it and just put like a soft, like maybe ash over her, like a blue base, because it was like this beautiful caramel color. But Goldie was really set on red, and so was I. But I just had this moment where it came up so beautifully. That's the K18 Molecular Repair Hair Mask. I love doing that after any lightning service. That's going to repair any damage that happened during the lightning. And I usually will work it through the hair, brush it through with my Tangle Teaser that you see here. And I always let it sit for 4 minutes. You do not rinse this. It's a leave-in. And you can see there just how soft and gorgeous her hair was. Then it was time for Philip Wolf to come in and do the haircut. I wanted him to cut the hair before I did the color. First, it's going to give Goldie's hair some time to dry, but also we were able to get that shape in the color, and he and I worked so well together, collaborating, just kind of knowing where my color placement's going to be, and then where is his cut going to be. If you notice here, he took out a little bit of length, and Goldie was really happy with that because she didn't want her hair to be too short, but she did want some curtain bangs. So if you see here, he took quite a bit of length off in those bangs, but he wanted them, dare I say, to be a little bit Sabrina Carpenter-esque. If you can see him really being meticulous there. So those bangs are side-swept curtain bangs on her, just getting that really nice cheek length. Goldie has gorgeous curls, and she likes to wear her hair both ways, straight, but she loves to rock her curls. So we really wanted to take that into consideration with Goldie in this haircut. Then it was time to put the layers in, to shag it out a little bit and give it some volume and dimension. So he came in there at his angle, and you can see right there, just taking those layers and those pieces right there were so gorgeous. What I love about collaborating with someone is doing art together. You know, they always say teamwork makes the dream work, right? You can see Philip coming in and carving out those layers there on Goldie, and he really was accentuating the sun-kissed hair. Even though it's wet, you can see the dimension that I put into Goldie's hair. Once he showed her the final results, she started smiling, which is always my favorite part. Goldie, if you didn't know, is actually also a hairstylist out of South Carolina. So it was such an honor to do another hairstylist hair and just give her that moment, because as hairstylists, we never have time to take care of ourselves. So it was time to get into the color. I used Permanent Color by Oligo Pro. It was my first time using their permanent line, Colora, and I was obsessed. I did a color melt on Goldie, and I used Oligo Pro's Color line. For the base, I did a 5 neutral with 5 RV. She definitely wanted a darker shadow root, and you can see those highlights that I did with the open air balayage. I took about 1/4 inch sections, and I actually started in the front, working my way down each quadrant, making sure to saturate thoroughly. I used 20 volume with this because I wanted to get that lift on Goldie to give her a really beautiful cherry cola red. You can see her natural base was pretty dark, so I wanted to get that 2 levels of lift to give her an intense red. And the balayage was really just to add dimension. So for my mids and ends, I also used Color Up Permanent, and I did 6 RV and 6 V that you can see there, also Color Up Permanent. I love the consistency. It was so easy to saturate. You can see me there using my Framar brush and just really making sure to saturate evenly. Something else I love to do is I use my Tangle Teaser actually to color melt the hair. It's not only great for detangling, it is so good for color melting and getting even saturation of my color with my clients, which is really, really great. I was really excited to see this on Goldie. She hadn't colored her hair in, I think it was like 10 years, and hadn't cut her hair in 7 years. So this was her first time doing something for herself and getting a hair transformation. You know, Goldie's a hairstylist. And it was just such an honor to get to do a fellow hairstylist hair and give them a transformation, especially being that she came all the way to Los Angeles out from South Carolina. So you can see me there using my fingers to color melt that color and get those two colors in her hair, really using that balayage that I did. And there's my tangle teaser. If you notice in the back, you can actually see me there taking my second formula. So the base, again, was 5N and 5RV, and then the mids and ends was 6RV and 6V to get that gradient. I just wanted a very natural color melt with that darker dimension. Once we processed for the full processing time, we did the K18 mask to repair any damage that happened in the hair, and then I actually used callus. That wakes up sleeping hair follicles. They have an active ingredient, PTT6. If you see there, I'm applying that PTT6 to her scalp. And even though Goldie has a lot of hair, this will actually give a lot of volume and bounce and scalp health. So just all the products that I use play a huge part in these hair transformations. That is Babyliss Pro Nano Titanium Dryer that Philip's using to style Goldie's hair. Their tools I've found are the best that I've ever used. I've tried all the other brands, and I love Babyliss tools. That's why I use them in all of my videos. I kind of feel like I have this formula of tools that I use for all my hair transformations that really give me the optimum results. You can see Philip really using the nozzle there just to get that perfect shine, and then using those boar bristles to smooth Goldie's hair and just give her a really voluminous 90s, if you will, blowout with that texture. But look at the color. This is that first moment that you can see that cherry cola red that Goldie asked for, that really beautiful deep red, and you can see the color melt, and you can see how the balayage that I did is really natural and sun-kissed, but it really accentuates the color. We were obsessed, and more than anything, Goldie was obsessed with these results and loved her hair color so much. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to me on YouTube. I've got 70,000 subscribers now, and I just appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure that you like it, share, do all the things. Let me know what you think. Do you love this hair transformation that we did on Goldie? We had so much fun spending time with Goldie and just making her feel beautiful and giving her that extra TLC. Let me know what you think of this hair transformation in the comments. Do you love these curtain bangs? Do you love this gorgeous red cherry cola hair? Sound off.